Namaskar. The topic of discussion in this module is on biological oceanography. Seas and oceans occupy about 71% of the Earth's surface. The total volume of water under marine environment is 1370 million cubic kilometers. The space available for marine life is 300 times more than the space available for other aquatic or terrestrial life on land. It is also believed that the earliest organisms got originated from the ancient oceans many million years before. The first texts of oceanography were published by Charles W. Thomson in 1873 entitled as The Depths of the Sea. His initiation made the Challenger expeditions of 1872 to 76, in which people travelled for 110,000 kilometers visiting all the major oceans except the Arctic. Detailed surveys were made with respect to the physical features, chemistry and biology of oceans. The Challenger expedition also attempted to integrate the geology, biology, chemistry and the physico-chemical phenomena of the oceans. It was carried out for about 19 years by a group of 76 scientists. The first seafloor map was prepared with details of life existing at greater depths. About 715 new genera and 4,417 new species of marine organisms were described by the great German biologist Ernst Haeckel. Since 1872, different countries conducted many biological oceanographic expeditions. The study of marine life has seen more and more such findings in course of time. Biological oceanography gradually grew into a major scientific discipline with all these observations of marine organisms and their environments. New tools and techniques were adopted, from sonar methods to satellite-borne sensors to study the oceans. These include sonar, underwater sound recording devices, submarines, scuba diving and sensors for continuous recording of oceanographic parameters. In this episode, the following modules are highlighted: nature of marine environment, classification of marine environment, role of abiotic parameters on marine life, the marine flora and the marine fauna. Let us see the first part, the nature of marine environment. The interest to study biology by humans started as early as 4th century BC, when Aristotle described about 180 species of marine animals. The geographical knowledge of oceans got improved after the Great Sea expeditions of the 15th and 16th centuries. Edward Forbes, a British naturalist, is the founding father of oceanography, who has systematically studied the marine biota and benthic marine animals. It was he who specified that different species occupy different depth zones. His nephew James Ross, during 1839 to 43, collected the benthic animals as deep as 730 meters and gave a lot of information to others. Marine ecosystem is characterized by the following biotic and abiotic components. The biotic components includes organisms and species, predators, parasites, competitors and mates. The abiotic components include the temperature, concentration of nutrients, sunlight, turbulence, salinity and density of water. Temperature decreases and light diminishes with depth. Hydrostatic pressure increases with depth. Nutrients become more concentrated with depth. About 2% of the total human food consumption comes from the marine species existing in the oceans. The economic utilization of marine natural resources is very high. Hence, biological oceanography is a rapidly developing field of marine sciences and earth sciences. Marine environments have altogether different kinds of physical conditions for life to survive. Marine species are buoyed up by water and need not have to store large amount of energy in their skeletal materials. Majority of marine plants are floating species and are microscopic. Many marine animals are invertebrates. They do not have massive skeletons. For floating and swimming, the animals require very little energy. Water, which is a fundamental constituent of all living organisms, is available in plenty within these marine environments. Temperature is yet another parameter which do not vary as drastically as seen on land or in the air. However, there are certain properties which are less favorable for life in the seas and oceans. Plant growth in the sea is limited by light. It is a fact that 50% of the total solar radiation which penetrates into the sea surface gets disappeared rapidly with depth. Much of the marine environment is in perpetual darkness. Under such circumstances, many of the marine life depends on the availability of essential nutrients only. Much of the decaying matter also sinks inside the seas. The zone just below the sea surface experiences the maximum environmental fluctuation. This is the zone where there is air-water interactions, variations in temperature, salinity and turbulence of water from winds. All environmental parameters show predominant vertical gradients.